Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. It's been a very busy week for us on this channel, and it should be a great weekend for all of Vol Nation. As we always do on Fridays, we will be taking a look at our 2025 big board for recruiting. We have several people that are expected to be visiting this weekend from the 25 to the 27 classes. We'll kind of break down that list. And as always, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out significantly. Thank you so much to everyone that's a member of this channel, everyone that's donating to this channel. All of that helps us out so much, and you can become a member of this channel by clicking the join button just below this video. You will get exclusive content that we cannot post on this side of YouTube because we can't monetize it, but you will be able to get film breakdowns, things like that, especially moving towards the season. It's going to be very, very beneficial for those of y'all that just love Tennessee football. If you want to put some money on these games, all of that, you will be the smartest person in the room. I guarantee it. And also, everyone that's been donating, that's huge. You can donate to this channel, help us to continue to grow by scanning the Cash App QR code in the top right-hand corner of this video with your smartphone. If you're watching from your smartphone, the link will be down in the description below. I also want to throw this out there to everyone that we want to be able to interact a lot more with everyone that is subscribed or just watches us on this channel. And I feel like the best way to do that is on Patreon. So the Patreon is live right now at patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. We will have a whole lot of chats, things like that on the daily. Just bring you some inside information, talking Tennessee sports, Tennessee, whatever, like everything, anything, it does not matter. We can talk about it all right there on Patreon. And we will also be bringing more people onto the channel. Y'all have seen Timmy G. He was on a live stream with us about a month ago. I think he did a phenomenal job. And we want to get more people to join us, especially as the season is going to be getting started and kicked off. You can join over there on Patreon for as little as $1. So we hope that everyone will join us over there. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, so we'll be starting off with our unofficial visitors for this weekend from the 26 and 27 classes. I have it broken down by position for y'all. And to the right of each player, you can see their star rating according to On3. Let's talk about Faison Brandon, the #1 player in the 2026 class. He's a quarterback. He's a dog. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's going to mean a whole lot as we go through this video. But sounds like he is all Vol. There's been a whole lot of speculation on would he be visiting Alabama once this dead period ends. And it does not sound like he's going to. He's only visiting Tennessee. He's been trending to us for a while. We've seen several crystal balls, RPMs, all that good stuff in favor of our volunteers. So you have to feel good about August the 3rd, whenever Faison will be committing. But as you look through the rest of this list, a whole lot of blue chip caliber players, especially up front. That's that James Pierce effect. People are starting to take notice of how good we're doing at developing talent up front. But also, you look at the linebackers, they look really good everywhere, really. I mean, everyone that's mentioned on here that is a potential visitor, they look like they're really good players. And if they don't have a rating next to their name, it's just because there's no rating with them on On3 at this point. But at some point, obviously, they will have some sort of a star rating. And the players that I have as 5 stars are actually 4 stars currently with On3, but that's just because they haven't fully updated this class yet. Anyone that's top 32 will essentially be a 5-star player. So that's how everything is broken down right there. Obviously, it looks great for our volunteers. Starting off, great with 2026, especially having Faison Brandon coming up and hopefully committing on August the 3rd. And now for our updated 2025 big board. As of today's date, July the 26th, as y'all can tell, there are already some major changes to this list from the last time that we looked at it. But we will go through each player and give you an update on them individually, starting off with Shaedy Hayward because this is his birthday weekend. He's a 4-star safety / linebacker hybrid from South Georgia, and he will be on campus this weekend to announce. Sounds like he's going to be coming on home to Tennessee. I just wouldn't, think that he would be up on campus to announce for a different program. But that's going to be huge because we have several people that will be visiting this weekend that probably will be in attendance for his announcement. So versatile. We talked about it, man, playing at linebacker, playing at safety. He can also play at star. That might be his best position because star is almost like a hybrid and a mix of linebacker and safety. But I love his film. I still think that he's my favorite player in this class. It's going to be a whole lot of fun to see him announce. While we're talking about the birthday weekends, it's also Jason Swain's birthday weekend. So huge happy birthday to Jason Swain. One of the all-time Vol greats. He's one of my all-time volunteer favorites as well. So I hope that we all have a great weekend, but especially all of the volunteers that have birthdays. So taking it back up to the top with David Sanders Jr., the #1 rated offensive lineman in this class. He's also expected to be up on campus this weekend, starting off tomorrow, but he will be in Nebraska first. He will be on campus there around 6 p.m. their time, which I think is Central Time. And he's actually flying there. We talked a whole lot about how the distance could play a factor in what school he ultimately decides to choose. But if you can just take a flight, then, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And I was thinking, I was like, man, look, they're spending a whole lot of money taking all these visits. But I forgot that they have agents now. So the agents are probably paying for all these visits. The biggest question for me is going to be, will he ultimately end up visiting Ohio State before the new dead period starts on August the 1st, which I believe is going to be next Thursday? It would probably be hard for him to visit anyone outside of this weekend because he is a high school football player. I mean, I'm sure that they're doing summer workouts and all that stuff. So I think that it's just going to be us and Nebraska, and that's huge. Something that I kind of touched on in yesterday's video, but I couldn't get to it the way that I wanted to just because I had so much going on yesterday. I had to get that video off of y'all, though. But my whole point in talking about NIL being a major factor at this point in the process was just to say that obviously he's going to have several factors on his checklist, and he got to his Final Four by all those programs checking off those initial factors. Now that he's down to a Final Four, and really I think at this point it's just a Final Two, probably Tennessee and Nebraska, he's got to, figure out, okay, what is going to separate these two programs? And NIL, in my opinion, is going to be a really big one. I just don't think that he would have been visiting Nebraska if NIL was not a major factor. They're obviously offering him a lot of money. Now, that's not to say that Nebraska isn't an up-and-coming program. They've been historically a great program, and they have a great fan base. I would say that, it's us and it's them as far as the best fan bases in the entire country. That's why I have a whole lot of respect for them, because they always support their team, whether they're good or not. So I think that that can be very enticing. We'll see what happens. Do they have a whole bunch of people to greet him once he arrives on campus? I'm sure that they will. The red carpet will be rolled out for him. But at the end of the day, I think that if you look at the totality of all the visits that he's taken, he will have ended up visiting Nebraska twice before he announces on August the 17th, and our Volunteers 7 to 8 times. So would you think that Nebraska would have enough to be able to flip him with just 2 visits versus a program that he's visited as much as he's visited Tennessee? I just don't think that that's very realistic. Now, is it possible? For sure it is. And also, is Ohio State completely out of this race? I don't think that they are. They're still there. But again, I think that they're in 3rd place at this point. As long as everything kind of remains the same with NIL and all that type of stuff, I think that David Sanders will ultimately end up choosing our Volunteers, because our insiders have said over and over again that we are not going to be outbid for David Sanders. And I really think that maybe he went back to Nebraska just to maybe get his NIL a little bit higher from our Volunteers. That could be part of it. Again, the agents are a part of this. They know how to play this game. A lot of these guys, especially for the higher caliber players, have been, agents for NFL players or professional players, whatever. So they understand how to play this game. Also, something else that I definitely want to bring to this channel is that I did some, more research, and I found out that David Sanders does not have an uncle or a family member on Nebraska staff. So again, I think that everything is trending to our Volunteers, but you just don't know what's going to happen over these next few weeks. I also feel like us getting that final visit before he announces will be huge. Now, the next player is going to be Deshaun Brame. He is already on campus. I believe that he arrived on campus last night. Expected for him to be flipping maybe at some point today. Okay, so keep a close eye out on the channel for that. But that's going to be huge. He's a really, really good player. Another tight end in this class. We know that Coach Heupel, Coach Halsley, the entire offense, they love versatile tight ends. And, it's just crazy to see how that was a position of weakness for us before. Now it looks like it's going to be a position of strength, especially if you think about the 2026 class. We're trending for some very good tight ends. So should be a whole lot of fireworks for us at some point this weekend in regards to Deshaun Brame. Now, the next player is going to be 4-star cornerback Onis Konabani. He's also expected to be on campus this weekend. Now, keep in mind, all these players will be watching Shaedy Hayward announce. GMAC will be on campus helping us to recruit. Sounds like Ethan Utley will also be on campus. So I feel really good. Don't know exactly what his announcement date is. I think it's going to be early August. But, I really would not be surprised to see him maybe try to pull the trigger while he's on campus. That would be huge for our Volunteers. Now, the last player up under expected commits, Dewan Morris. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name because people pronounce it differently all the time. And I hate mispronouncing people's names, so I'll just call him D. Morris. but he's a three-star athlete currently committed to USC. We want him to play running back inside of our system. It'll be huge to add him along with the Justin Baker in this class. I love his film. He's very versatile and dynamic with the football in his hands. He can also catch passes. But if we could add him, okay, that would be gigantic, not only for this class, but specifically for Coach Sims. It will be his first commit as a Tennessee Volunteer. He is expected to be on campus this weekend. We've talked about that for quite some time now. But, the insiders don't think that he's expected to commit this weekend or, to flip from USC to Tennessee this weekend. They said it might take some more time. I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually go ahead and make that flip because so many things are going on with his peers, with, blue chip caliber players in several classes that will be up on campus. I would not be surprised to see him going ahead and make a flip relatively soon. Maybe it doesn't happen this weekend, but I would say within the next couple of weeks, would not be shocked if he does end up choosing our Volunteers. Now, on to the possible commits, starting off with five-star offensive lineman Josh Petty. Been a long time, Tennessee Vol fan. His dad is a huge Tennessee Vol fan. And we've talked about maybe Florida State has the edge at this point, but he is expected to be visiting Georgia Tech this weekend. So he's from Georgia, okay? He's from the Atlanta area, so Georgia Tech is going to be very close to home. And growing up as a Tennessee fan in the state of Georgia, we have allies, especially with teams that hate Georgia as much as we do. So typically, Tennessee and Georgia Tech fans get along very well in the state of Georgia. So I'm very proud of him for, just proving that he is a Tennessee fan. Not even that he has to prove it, but just, continue to be that, right? I mean, he's going to be a Vol fan through and through. And I can tell y'all just from, kind of watching P go through his process, growing up as a huge Tennessee fan, part of the reason that we didn't go to Tennessee is because, I mean, listen, dude, like going up there with Derek Dooley and his staff sitting inside of film rooms, you can tell that they had no idea what they were doing. They just were not good coaches. And for those of y'all that maybe were thinking, hey, we could outcoach these guys, you're probably right, okay? They were absolutely horrible. And it's amazing that we were able to win any games with that staff, period. So saying all that just to say that maybe Josh Petty, growing up as a Tennessee fan, went up on campus and maybe there's some coaches or something, within the culture or whatever that he just does not vibe well with. I would say that it's probably something to do with him and one of the offensive line coaches. It could be Coach E. It could be one of the analysts, whatever. And I mean, it's not a great sign, obviously, if anyone feels that way, but maybe there's just a difference in the philosophies and the mindsets, things like that. I do like Coach E. I really like our offensive line staff. I think that we're doing a better job of going out, getting players. I think that we've done well with what we've had. Just want to throw that out there. But right now, Josh Petty down between us, Florida State and Georgia Tech. I would say that Florida State and Georgia Tech are probably the front runners with this one. He also is probably considering what his life will be like after football. I think that that's really big to him. I believe that he wants to be a business major. Now, Georgia Tech isn't necessarily known for their business school, but I will say this, 1 in 5 graduates, at least whenever P was visiting them, are millionaires. So that's something that sticks out a lot to players that are visiting, even if you're not going to be an engineer. So we'll see what happens there. I would say that I'm feeling less and less confident as time is going on that we will end up with Josh Petty in this class, but that's just my opinion. We'll see how things play out. Now, the next player is going to be 4-star offensive lineman from Westlake High School in Atlanta, Georgia, Juan Gaston. It's still down between us, Oregon, and UGA. I think that Oregon and UGA are probably the front runners at this point. But like we always say, we don't really know because he doesn't talk a lot to, like the insiders or to, any of these media people. So there's really no telling. I thought that maybe he would take some visits once this dead period opened back up. I haven't heard nothing about that just yet. But if he does, then I think that gives us a good indication of where he could ultimately end up at. He's another one that clearly we would love to add to this class. Now for 4-star linebacker from Buford, Georgia, Jaden Prelati. Now I moved him over from the expected to the possible commits for a few reasons, but let's talk about what the insiders think first. Our insiders tend to, or, they're kind of seeming like they're not as confident as they were before. And a big part of the reason for that is because Jaden and his family aren't really talking to the media as much as they were. And that's something that I didn't bring to this channel before, but that was a plan, I would say, over like the past month or so to kind of not speak as much to the media and focus more on his senior season. They want to win a championship at Buford. So that's what their primary focus is at this point. Now, UGA's insiders have said several times that they don't believe that Jaden will end up in their class either. So it's kind of a, toss up at this point as far as the insiders are concerned. Now, I will bring a little bit of inside information to this channel for y'all in regards to Jaden Prelati. I can tell you that He was expected to be up on campus in Knoxville this weekend, but he's going to be going on to USC. Now, do I think that USC is a real contender? Sure they are, but I still think that Tennessee and Georgia should be the favorites. We're, saying that he might want to make a decision as far as flipping goes, if he's going to flip before school starts at Buford, which would be August the 2nd, and that new dead period starts on August the 1st. So being that this weekend will probably be his last opportunity to go out and visit other programs, I think that Tennessee is going to be more on the outside looking in. Now, if he would have came up, then I would have felt great, and I would have kept him over under the expected commits list. And listen, y'all, I don't know any of this stuff for sure. I'm just speculating off of what I do know. I think that he's probably going to end up staying at Georgia. That's just my opinion. If someone said, look, you've got to make a choice between one of these programs, life or death situation, at this moment in time, I will be choosing Georgia. But I've told y'all for the longest time that even if he did flip to Tennessee or to whoever else, he's a player that you have to take all the way up to signing day, just because you never know what's going to happen here. I think that they're doing their best to find, the most logical place for Jaden moving forward. And, his father is from the Athens area, grew up as a really big Georgia fan. Jaden also grew up as a really big Georgia fan. I just think that all signs are really kind of pointing back towards UGA at this point in time. And it pains me to say it because I love Jaden on and off the field. He's such a good kid. It's hard not to root for him. And even if he does go to Georgia, I will be rooting for him individually. I would never root for that team. But I wish him all the best. And we'll see what happens as the season goes on. Again, you just don't know where he's going to end up until signing day. Now, for the final player on our big board, another possible commit. This is a new one. This is Darion Smith, and he is a three-star defensive tackle prospect from St. Francis High School in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, I got to see their team play up close last season versus Buford. They've got a whole lot of very good athletes. I was impressed with their front. He's got a good film. He's a guy that will also be on campus this weekend. Would be huge if we could get him to commit to us and add him to this class, because we need that defensive tackle depth. That's a place that we will be a little bit shorthanded at in the 2025 season. We're really deep there now, but moving forward, we've got to add some more bodies. And I was thinking it would be more transfer portal, but if we could add another young piece, that is absolutely huge. So we'll keep a very close eye out on that. But that's it for this video. Please let me know y'all's thoughts. How do you feel about the new big board? How do you think about all the visitors and all that good stuff? Please, as always, y'all, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks. Peace.